Welcome back. Now, Japan has pledged to continue supporting Egypt's democratic process 5 years after a revolution which swept the country and ousted Hosni Mubarak. The promise came Monday during Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi's first state visit to Japan. At a news conference following talks with President el-Sisi, Prime Minister Shinzo Abe announced economic assistance, including a 2 trillion yen business project with Japanese companies. The announcement comes when Egypt is struggling to revive its economy after the 2011 uprising and subsequent unrest have driven away foreign investors and tourists. Prime Minister Abe's government drives exports of social infrastructure such as railway systems and power generation systems to the Middle East and other regions as part of its growth strategy. Now, here are some of the details of the kind of support which Egypt will be getting from Japan. Japan has pledged to continue to support Egypt, and the kind of economic assistance it will be given includes an $18 billion business investment in projects. There will also be a 5-year education partnership between Egypt and Japan. That includes Japan receiving about 2,500 Egyptian students over the next 5 years. And there will also be a strengthening of security ties between both countries. For more on this, we go live to Cairo, where the Voice of America's Edward Iranian is standing by. Edward, thank you very much for joining us on Network Africa.
My pleasure, Cynthia.
Now, despite the human rights issues like we spoke of yesterday, it appears as though President Sisi is doing something very right now that Japan is looking to strengthen ties with him. Can you tell us more about what Egypt stands to gain from Japan with this new understanding?
Well, Cynthia, I think every country needs to diversify its sources of revenue. The Gulf countries have been giving quite a lot of money to Egypt, both in the form of investments and credits to support the Egyptian currency. Clearly, they're under a lot of strain themselves due to the collapse of oil prices over the last year and a half. So it's wise to go to other sources to gain business. I think President Sisi has already been to China. He's been to Russia. Of course, Russia is a traditional ally, or has been an economic partner in terms of buying grain, bringing tourists. But that has also come under strain due to the fact that a Russian plane was shot down over the Sinai recently. And also, if you look at the other regional countries, the Turkish president, whose economy is also under similar strain for some of the same reasons, has been traveling to Africa recently to drum up business there. I think President Sisi has been very active in terms of trying to bring business to Egypt. He's been to Europe, he's been to Germany, to France, to Britain. So running a country like this with 90 million people and with an economy that is very difficult, to say the least, is a struggle. It's a struggle probably under the best of circumstances, but the low-level conflict with the Muslim Brotherhood and other Islamic militant groups has brought the economy down a few notches. I don't want to say it's on its knees. It isn't, and it's the kind of economy that's based on a lot of, I don't know what in Arabic they call the simsar type economy. Yeah. So it's not the kind that would collapse very easily, even if it has a lot of strain on it. But that being said, certainly there's a lot of room for improvement.
Now, Edward, which other country might be looking to strengthen ties with Egypt sometime soon?
Well, I mean, there has been talk of the Saudis trying to broker some improved relations with Turkey. I don't see that happening because Turkey is a major supporter of the Muslim Brotherhood. Turkey has improved relations with Israel. Perhaps they'd like to improve relations with Egypt as well. I'm not sure. That's not clear. Egypt probably would like to improve relations, and this is sort of a military situation as well as an economic situation with Libya, their next door neighbor, which has traditionally taken a lot of Egyptian workers. Right now, the country's in chaos. Egyptian Christians were slaughtered by the Islamic State. Insurgents last year, so many of them came back home. I don't know if all of them did. Probably some are still there. Also looking to improve ties with some of the other Arab countries. A lot of Egyptians work in Saudi Arabia, a lot of Egyptians work in the United Arab Emirates, things like that.
Okay, but now finally, Edward, what's in it for Japan? Because we're seeing a breakdown of what's going to happen with this new deal with strengthening of security ties, about 2,500 Egyptian students who will be going to Japan for their education in the next 5 years. This is just to mention a little. What does Japan stand to gain in the long run and probably immediately?
That's a very interesting question. Well, of course, they sell the sorts of infrastructure, rail lines, electricity plants, and other sorts of industrial products that need to be sold somewhere. And Egypt is a market that's waiting to be tapped. Japanese people have come to Egypt as tourists in droves. They have a certain fascination with Egypt, with the tourist spots like the pyramids and Luxor. And I've always been sort of amazed at the number of Japanese tourists here, even under difficult circumstances. So I think Japan has just sort of an emotional tie to Egypt, as well as probably economic reasons to want to tap the market.
Well, the Voice of America's Edward Iranian, thank you very much for joining us on Network Africa. We appreciate your time.
My pleasure.
And we also appreciate our wonderful viewers. We asked you a question yesterday regarding how you're coping with the current fuel scarcity situation. And the top feedback is coming from about 4 of our viewers here. According to Fuel Day, he says it's pretty tough. And but what is being displayed right now is actually from... I'm trying to find out who this is from, because that's not exactly what I'm reading. But the next one comes from Prince Segbi, who says it's not easy at all. And the next comes from Salami Prosper, who says we just pray all this comes to an end soon. Trust Nigerians, if you give them a chance to take advantage of the masses, then they will do that. Then Cardoso is also saying that he's just praying that this does not necessarily affect this does not actually result in increased transport fare. And Salami Prosper says again, he's just praying that the increase does also not lead to increased transport fare. Thank you so much for all your feedback. Please keep them coming. We're asking you today, what do you think will be the outcome of President Zuma facing a vote of no confidence? That's our question of the day. Feel free to send us your feedback either via email or Twitter. The address and handles are right there on your screen. Thank you so much for watching Network Africa on Channels Television. I'm Cynthia Are.